Hello YouTube. This is Professor BJ coming back to you with another great video. Before I get started in my topic today, if you like the content on this channel, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. I'm really trying to grow my channel, so any encouragement that I can get would be greatly appreciated. So please hit like and subscribe and share with others. So today's topic, I want to talk about the Great Resignation. Unless you've been under a rock, many news outlets, many other YouTube bloggers, social media is talking about the Great Resignation. So I talk about this on my podcast. It's called the Intentional Excellence Podcast on Anchor. So please check that out as well. Like and subscribe that. I would appreciate it. The Great Resignation. I came across this very good article. It was in Forbes.com online. We all know Forbes. They have great information about what's going on in the workplace, in the business world. So it's a very reliable source. And again, this has been publicly discussed on any of the evening news programs, the morning news programs. So I wanted to go into some of the highlights and then talk about what my viewpoints, having worked in human resources, working with employees and managers at all levels of the organization, also as a professor dealing with students, and kind of, what I think are some of the reasons in addition to what this article says. So I'll give my own viewpoint at the end. So according to this article, the Great Resignation is a sort of workers' revolution, an uprising against bad bosses and tone-deaf companies that refuse to pay well and take advantage of their staff. Millions of workers voted with their feet and walked out of their jobs, many without having another position already lined up. That says a lot. If you leave your job without having a job, and as we all know, it's easier to find a job when you have a job, they no longer want to feel like victims. The quitters are making a powerful, positive, and self-affirming statement saying that they won't take the abusive behavior any longer. The article goes on to state Dr. Laura Hamill, Chief Science Advisor at LimeAid, an immersive employee well-being company with a mission to create healthy employee experiences, said about this trend. The mass exodus workplaces have experienced over the past several months is unprecedented. Burnout levels reached an all-time high. There was a societal breakdown when it came to the ecosystem of work, home, well-being. People have reached their limits. So that's a pretty powerful statement. And I think, if you've worked in any environment, if you are a manager, if you own your own business, you have probably experienced this directly or indirectly with the number of employees leaving their jobs. And I just wanted to add here, this has again been widely reported, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they do those Thursday reports about the job market, unemployment, new claims, Department of Labor. In the month of August alone, 4.2 million people resigned from their jobs. That's a lot of people. And then I also saw something over the weekend. In the month of September, over 300,000 women left the workforce. Those are some very significant numbers, and the impact that they have on the workforce, on companies, on business leaders. What does that mean? And I don't know if people think about this, but if you have 4.2 people leaving their jobs, perhaps they're moving on to other jobs, perhaps they're just leaving the job force altogether. The unintended consequence of that is that those people are not contributing to Social Security. So what does that mean? That means that the Social Security fund will not be getting the needed boost that it needs from every working American. So that people like myself, when we get ready to retire, we've worked our entire lives, and Social Security will either be greatly diminished, the dollar amount that I should receive, I've worked my entire life, or it will be diminished, or it will be gone altogether. And of course, we should not solely rely on Social Security. We should have other assets. There's what they call the trifecta. You should, Social Security, investments, and other retirement plans from your company, 401k, or a regular pension. So, and then your savings. So I guess 4 tiers to retirement in terms of resources. So, but again, those of individuals that retire or get to the age of 62 or whatever their retirement age is, Social Security may not be there. And I know there's been talk over the years, it's a moving target, whether that should be privatized, whether individuals should determine how they should have a separate account set up. And again, I want to get in too deep into Social Security, but the point is, when you have that many people not working or in transition, every payroll that someone is not working, that is able-bodied, that was previously in the workforce, that's less money that's going into the coffers of Social Security. I'm not sure if a lot of people understand what those implications are long-term. So I just wanted to point that out because these are big numbers to me. And I worked in human resources for a long time. I never thought in my lifetime I would see such a mass exodus at one time. And I know what we've experienced over the last year and a half. I'm not going to say that word because, we can't say that word on YouTube. But it has caused many employees to reevaluate what is important, where they see where they see themselves in the grand scheme of life. And I'll talk about it. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. But again, I just wanted to talk about that because that's what came to mind, is that what is the implication, what is the impact to Social Security when you have that many people not contributing to the fund every pay cycle, every 2 weeks or every month. That's a lot of money that's not being putting back into the system. Okay, so the article goes on. I don't want to go off on a tangent there. Okay, so again, the article continues. True to its goal of helping employees, LimeAid conducted a study, The Great Resignation Update, to determine why job changers left their previous roles and what attracted them to their new ones. The survey polled 1,000 U.S.-based full-time employees at companies with 500 or more employees about burnout, well-being, and organizational care. All respondents started a new job in 2021 and have been there for at least 3 months. So again, these employees did go on to other companies, but you think about there perhaps could have been a lag time. Some of them may have decided to start their own businesses, and any of you that have business owners, you don't make money right away unless you're very fortunate or blessed to have a lot of capital. But we're talking about, and again, I'm still talking about the Social Security. I'm kind of stuck on that because that's a big impact to the Social Security fund that we all work very hard our entire adult lives because we want to be able to get that check at 62 or 65, 67, 68, whatever your normal retirement age is, or whenever you decide to start taking Social Security. There will be an impact because the way things are going with the labor shortages, with the job market, with all the flux and chaos in this society, it may take several years to get back to the level that we did before that thing happened. I can't say that word. Okay, so going on to the article here. So according to the survey, the 5 main reasons why employees quit. Number 1, burnout, which was 40%. Number 2, company going through organizational changes, 34%. Number 3, lack of flexibility, 20%. Instances of discrimination, 20%. Contributions and ideas not being valued, 20%. Those all tied for number 3. Number 4, insufficient benefits, 19%. Number 5, well-being not supported by companies, 16%. So those are the 5 main reasons why employees quit. So let's go on to talk about the good news. This is what those employees that left their previous job, what they were looking for in their next job or their new job opportunity. Number 1, ability to work remotely according to personal preference. That was 40%. So there is this idea that I've gotten a taste of working from home and I want to continue that. I don't want those long commutes anymore. I want to spend more time with my family. Number 2, better compensation, 37%. Number 3, better management, 31%. And number 4, better company reputation, 29%. So they want to work for a company that's in line with their vision and their value system. Number 5, better work-life balance, 26%. And number 6, flexible work schedule, 24%. So as you can see from this article, very good information. And again, many of you have seen the news reports, you've seen it on social media, you've seen it in the news, that 4.2 million people left their jobs in 1 month alone. So what does that state for the workplace? What can companies do? What can HR do? What can small business owners do? A couple of things, and these are my thoughts. One thing is to treat employees with respect, with professionalism, with dignity. As we know, and if you've worked in the business world, if you had the opportunity, if you worked in human resources, most companies do an exit interview. And many times as a part of the exit interview, the companies, that's free marketing to find out what the company did well, but also why the employee is leaving. And many times it's because of the work environment. Many times it's because they didn't feel valued. They didn't feel that their manager recognized their contributions. They didn't feel that the manager recognized them as persons or people, that they were constantly under pressure to meet the numbers and meet the numbers only. They were not given the flexibility of taking time off in some environments. So this is something that companies must look at going forward because of the labor shortage, because so many employees are leaving their current employment, that companies don't have the luxury of not addressing these issues, really sitting down, having critical conversations with the senior leaders of the company, with human resources, with line managers, to come up with ways to attract the best and the brightest employees, but also the ones that you have currently in your company. What are you doing to keep them there? What are you doing to show them that you value them? What are you doing to recognize their efforts? What are you doing to ensure that if they have an issue or concern, that they are open to address those? Is there a formal process if they feel that there is any type of discrimination, if they feel that they're not being treated fairly, if they feel that it's a hostile work environment? What system do you have in place so that employees can report those instances? Because that is part of why some of the employees are leaving their current jobs, because they feel that they are in a hostile work environment, that they're being bullied by their managers, that they're being bullied by some of perhaps their coworkers. Again, bullying can be by managers, or it can be by fellow coworkers. So that's important. And unfortunately, bullying is occurring at in some workplaces more so than others. Also, employees that were currently working from home because of the situation over the last year and a half, many companies are requiring their employees to go back into the office. What are you doing as an employer to ensure that it is a safe work environment? What are you doing, or what communications have you had with employees? What, again, we're not going to get into the mandates, but what are you doing to communicate to employees that you have taken the necessary measures to ensure that they're walking into an environment that they haven't been in, let's say a year and a half, that it's safe? Because that's one of the main reasons why a lot of employees are not going back. They've been home, they've been in their cocoon, they know that they're safe, with their family, their immediate family, and, perhaps a few extended family members. But to go into a work environment, and to, let's say if it's a call center, for example, with 40, 50, 60 people in a room, what are you doing to ensure that it's safe? Employees can't take that risk. Many of them are taking care of young children. They have elderly parents that they are caregivers. With everything that's going on, they're very scared. So you as an employer or as a business owner have to ensure employees that it's a safe work environment. Next, have you looked at your compensation? Have you done any benchmarking? Do you know what your competitors are paying for the same job? Employees are fed up with taking a lot of abuse from customers. Let's face it, in some environments, if it's customer facing, particularly in the service industry, which is the industry that's being hit very hard, restaurants, hotels, attractions. A lot of employees are saying enough is enough. It's not worth it to be talked to, badly by customers, to be treated horribly by management, for $7, $8, $9, $10 an hour. What are you doing to, to increase your compensation package? Do some research, do some benchmarking, have your HR, do a market analysis to find out what your competitors are paying and pay more. It's just like if you're in a business, you've got to do some market research. You've got to beat out the competitor. So employees want to work for the most part. There are probably a percentage that don't want to work. They've gotten used to the higher unemployment. They've gotten used to some of the incentives that were offered. But for the most part, most people want to work to be able to take care of their families. They don't want handouts. They don't want government assistance. They want to be self-sufficient. But if the government is offering more than you're offering as their employer, that's just common sense. As I talked about in my previous video, return on investment. You're going to look for where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So, and this is no different. If I'm going to make more staying home, then why should I go work for you and be treated badly, with lack of respect, and no integrity? So I mean, that's a no-brainer. So again, I don't want to make this video too long, but the point is, a couple of things employers can do, business owners can do, line managers can do: treat people with respect, treat them the way you want to be treated. It's a golden rule. Look at your compensation package, do some benchmarking, pay above the market value. The employees that you have that are top performers, reward them through rewards recognition. Perhaps consider a stay bonus. A lot of companies do that in good times, so it's probably even more so now. You may want to consider some stay bonuses. You can space that out over time, not a lump sum bonus, but maybe over the next 6 months incrementally. Give bonuses. Consider raises, across the board raises. It may hurt your bottom line initially, but long term, if you think about how costly turnover is, it's more costly to replace an employee than to allocate as part of your P&L, profit and loss statement, that you're going to take a one-time hit to do across the board, either a raise across the board. Again, these are the employees, mainly, lower level, customer facing, entry level, service facing employees. You want to give them a one-time bonus, or you want to raise their salary. So take the hit now. You're going to either pay on the front end or you're going to pay on the back end. So those are my thoughts. Those are my suggestions. Implement some leadership development training for new managers. Make it a requirement that if you have leaders that are coming into your organization, that they go through your leadership development training. Just because someone is a manager at some other company doesn't mean that they're a good leader. Again, my experience is they may be able to do the job, the technical aspects of the job, but they may not be good leaders of people. And that's what's important right now. Leaders of people. You need managers who have the competencies to manage people and manage them effectively. And so those are my recommendations, and that's from an HR and that's from a business perspective, things that I would recommend. Thank you. Have a great day.